5 mistakes that make you insecure. Have you ever walked away from a conversation feeling smaller than when it began? Maybe it was a moment when you felt compelled to explain yourself, apologize excessively, or agree to something you didn't even want. Subtle as they seem, these habits can quietly erode not just how others perceive us, but how we see ourselves. You might start to wonder, am I coming across as confident? Can they sense the doubt I'm desperately trying to hide? What's surprising is that insecurity often doesn't look the way we imagine. It's not always a trembling voice or nervous fidgeting. More often it hides in the tiny, almost invisible actions, habits we barely notice but which quietly signal a fear of not being enough. The truth is, we all fall into these traps from time to time. It doesn't make us weak, it makes us human. But the key is recognizing these patterns and stepping out of them before they define us. This is where the timeless wisdom of Stoicism can guide us. Philosophers like Marcus Aurelius remind us that true strength isn't about proving anything to others. It's about becoming the best version of ourselves. When we focus on what we can control, our thoughts, actions, and values, we free ourselves from the prison of worrying about what others think. In this video, we'll uncover 5 common social habits that can unintentionally make us appear insecure, and learn how to replace them with quiet, unshakable confidence. This isn't about judgment, it's about growth. Before we begin, don't forget to subscribe and tap the notification bell so you never miss out on more insightful and transformative content like this. Now let's dive in. Boomer Drakur. 1. Seeking validation from others. Seeking validation might seem harmless, normal even, but beneath the surface, it slowly chips away at your sense of self. Think about the times you've refreshed your phone, waiting for a comment or a like to reassure you that you're good enough. It feels small in the moment, but over time, these instances accumulate, and your confidence becomes dependent on external approval. The Stoics warned against this fragile foundation. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." When you rely on others' opinions for validation, you hand over that power, letting fleeting judgments dictate your worth. Here's an example. Someone posts an achievement online, proud of their work. At first they feel great, but as the likes slow down, doubt creeps in. Was it not impressive enough? Did they share it the wrong way? What was once pride becomes anxiety, all because they placed their self-worth in others' hands. This isn't limited to social media. It appears in everyday interactions, seeking constant compliments, over-explaining decisions, or fishing for approval. Stoic wisdom reminds us that true confidence comes from within. As Epictetus said, freedom is the only worthwhile goal in life. It is won by disregarding things beyond our control. How to break free. Shift your focus inward. Reflect on the qualities that define you when no one is watching. Are you kind, resilient, or thoughtful? Hold on to these truths and let them guide your actions. When you stop seeking validation from others, you begin to live for yourself, and that kind of confidence cannot be taken away. 2. Over-explaining yourself. Over-explaining often feels polite or clarifying, but in reality, it reveals uncertainty. Every time you over-justify your choices, whether it's declining an invitation, sharing an opinion, or setting a boundary, you might unintentionally signal that you're seeking permission or approval. The Stoics valued simplicity and clarity in both thought and communication. Seneca believed in the strength of silence, allowing actions to speak louder than words. Over-explaining, he might argue, is a way of giving others power over you, as if you're saying, "Here's why I think I'm right. Please don't question me." Imagine this. A friend invites you to an event, but you're exhausted and know you need to rest. Instead of simply saying, "Thank you, but I can't make it," you launch into a detailed explanation about your workload, lack of sleep, and how you've been feeling. By the end, You've spent 10 minutes justifying something that needed only one sentence. Confident individuals trust their decisions without feeling the need to defend them. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good person should be. Be one. Live according to your values and let your actions align with who you are." How to break the habit. Practice mindfulness. Before explaining, pause and ask yourself, am I clarifying something important, or am I overcompensating? A simple, clear statement often carries more weight than an elaborate justification. Trust your decisions and let them stand on their own. 3. Avoiding eye contact. Eye contact is one of the simplest yet most powerful ways we communicate. It says, "I see you, and I'm present." But avoiding it can unintentionally convey fear, discomfort, or even dishonesty. For many, looking away feels safer, less vulnerable. But avoiding eye contact doesn't protect you, it isolates you. The Stoics believed in living fully present, engaging with the world as it is, not as we fear it might be. Making eye contact is a small but profound way to embody that presence. For example, imagine you're in a meeting and someone asks for your opinion. Instead of meeting their gaze, you look at the table or your hands. You might think you're reducing pressure, but to others, it can signal uncertainty or disinterest. How to build this habit. Start small. In your daily interactions, challenge yourself to hold eye contact just a few seconds longer. Remember, it's not about perfection, it's about presence. As Marcus Aurelius reflected, "If you seek truth, do not fear looking directly at it." 4. Over-apologizing. The words, "I'm sorry," carry weight, but overusing them diminishes their meaning, and worse, undermines your confidence. Each unnecessary apology reinforces the idea that you're at fault, even when you aren't. This habit, often born out of politeness or conflict avoidance, doesn't serve you. Stoicism teaches us to value responsibility, not guilt. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If you are pained by an external thing, it is not the thing itself that disturbs you, but your judgment about it." True accountability means owning your actions without the need for constant self-reproach. Save apologies for when they're meaningful, when you've made a mistake or caused harm. How to stop over-apologizing. Pause before apologizing. Ask yourself, am I truly at fault? If not, replace "I'm sorry" with gratitude or a simple acknowledgement. For instance, instead of saying, "I'm sorry for interrupting," try, "Thank you for your time." These habits may seem small, but each step you take to unlearn them strengthens your confidence and self-respect. By embracing Stoic principles and aligning your actions with your values, you'll discover a quiet confidence that speaks volumes without saying a word. Breaking free from over-apologizing. Every time you apologize unnecessarily, you subtly undermine how others perceive you, and more importantly, how you perceive yourself. It chips away at your confidence, creating a cycle where your presence feels like something that requires constant justification. This habit of over-apologizing diminishes your sense of worth and leaves you carrying the weight of needless guilt. Now imagine the impact of breaking this pattern. Instead of defaulting to "I'm sorry," pause and reflect, is this truly my fault? If the answer is no, replace the apology with gratitude or acknowledgement. For instance, instead of saying, "I'm sorry for being late," try, "Thank you for waiting." Instead of apologizing for asking a question, say, "I appreciate your time." These subtle shifts not only change how others perceive you, but also how you communicate with yourself. Over-apologizing can also influence how others view your competence. Constant, unwarranted apologies might make people question your confidence or abilities. Ask yourself, would you fully trust someone who frequently doubts their own worth? As the Stoics teach, strength lies in clarity and balance. Owning your actions without unnecessary apologies demonstrates both accountability and self-respect. Breaking free from this habit is not about silencing yourself, It's about valuing yourself. Start with a simple exercise. For one day, track every time you say, "I'm sorry." At the end of the day, review the list and identify which apologies were truly necessary. You may be surprised at how many weren't. Begin replacing those unnecessary apologies with empowering language. If you bump into someone, say, "Excuse me," instead of "sorry." If you spill your drink, replace "I'm sorry" with "I'll clean it up." These small adjustments gradually build a stronger, more confident version of yourself. Self-respect flourishes when you stop apologizing for merely existing. It's not about avoiding accountability. It's about striking a balance. Marcus Aurelius advised focusing on what truly matters and not wasting energy on distractions. Over-apologizing is one such distraction, diverting your energy from meaningful growth. Confidence doesn't need to shout. It speaks through calm assurance. By reserving your apologies for moments that genuinely require them, you not only communicate more effectively but also affirm your intrinsic value. You deserve to take up space, to be heard, and to live free of unwarranted guilt. Let your apologies be intentional, not habitual. Over time, you'll notice a transformation, not just in how others respond to you, but in how you see yourself. This is a step toward clarity, self-respect, and a life of inner peace. Breaking the cycle of people-pleasing. Trying too hard to be liked often feels like walking a tightrope, balancing your desires with the expectations of everyone around you. You may find yourself agreeing to plans you don't enjoy, sharing opinions you don't believe in, or smiling when you'd rather be serious, all to avoid rejection. But this relentless pursuit of approval doesn't lead to harmony. It leads to self-erasure. You begin to lose your voice, your essence, and the authenticity that makes you, you. As Socrates said, the greatest way to live with honor in this world is to be what we pretend to be. When you shape yourself to fit others' expectations, you stray further from your true self. Being liked is not the same as being fulfilled. Stoicism teaches that true contentment comes from living virtuously, not from chasing external validation. Consider someone who constantly agrees to plans they don't want, takes on tasks they lack energy for, or nods along to opinions they don't share. While the goal might be to maintain peace, the result is losing touch with their own needs and values. It's like bending a tree to fit someone else's idea of beauty. It may grow in that shape for a while, but it loses its natural strength and resilience. People-pleasing erodes authenticity. True respect comes from standing by your beliefs and honoring your boundaries, even when it's uncomfortable. When you're authentic, your value isn't determined by others' opinions, but by your alignment with your own truth. To break this cycle, start with small steps. Practice setting boundaries with simple, polite no's. For instance, decline an event you're not excited about, or turn down an extra project when your plate is full. It's not about being rude, it's about respecting your time, energy, and values. Remember, boundaries don't push others away. They teach them how to respect you. Over time, as you embrace authenticity, you'll notice a shift in your relationships. People will respect you not because you mold yourself to fit their expectations, but because you honor your own. The Stoics lived this truth. They focused on what they could control, their actions, thoughts, and values. They understood that seeking approval from others is fleeting, while self-respect is enduring. The next time you feel the urge to please everyone, pause and reflect. Ask yourself, does this decision align with my values? Will saying yes truly add meaning to my life, or am I avoiding discomfort? By letting go of the need to be liked by everyone, you reclaim your authenticity. And with that authenticity comes a self-worth that no one can take away. The Stoic path to confidence. Remember, these 5 social mistakes, seeking validation, over-explaining, avoiding eye contact, over-apologizing, and trying too hard to be liked, stem from fear of rejection, a desire for approval, or a lack of self-confidence. But none of these external factors define your worth. Real confidence begins within. The Stoics offer a timeless framework. Focus on what you can control, live authentically, and hold true to your values. By replacing habits of insecurity with behaviors rooted in self-assurance, you create a life of respect, authenticity, and inner peace. You deserve to take up space, trust your decisions, hold boundaries, and live unapologetically. The more you align with your true self, the more fulfilling your life becomes. And as always, remember, true confidence isn't about being liked by everyone. It's about being at peace with yourself.